Hello dear students, once again welcome back to our online classes. This is your subject teacher of English from LPM Public School, which is situated in Golabachar, Gorakhpur. Dear student, today's video I'm going to explain the next chapter that is given in your English reader book. So first of all, you all take out your new Champs English reader book and open chapter number 9. Student, in my previous video I have already explained chapter number 1 to 8 and we had revised that chapter. So today we're going to revise chapter number 9. So tell me, what's the title of chapter number 9? Do you know that? The title of chapter number 9 is The Boy Who Wanted to Read. Okay. Student, it is a very interesting story. This is a real story which is related to a boy. It is clear through the title that in this story there is a boy who wanted to read, but what will happen that boy that he will not able to read, and how could he invent a new technique for the blind people. So student, before starting the chapter there is an activity that is given for you, that try this activity with a partner. So you must be do this given activity at your home with your friends or family members. Okay, in this activity you must be choose a partner. So shut your eyes and have your partner hand you some objects and try to guess what the objects are by holding and feeling them. When you guess an object, try to give more details about the material used, its size, its weight, and if it has any grooves or marks. As you will realize, the sense of touch is a knee one. Okay, it helps blind people understand objects, place, and even read books. Okay, so through this chapter we will learn that there is a boy whose name was Louis Braille and he was a blind, and how could he continue his study. Okay student, so there was a time not long ago. Okay, we will start the story. So there is a first line that is given. There was a time not long ago when most people thought that the blind could never learn to read. Okay, student, it is very true that not long ago when the most of the people thought that the blind could never learn to read, but it was believed that the only way to read was to look at words with our eyes. Okay, with your eyes. So a young French boy named Louis Braille thought otherwise and made books come alive for the blind. Okay, the year was 1812. In a small town near Paris, 3-year-old Louis was playing in his father's workshop. Mr. Braille made the leather objects and had many special tools. Little Louis often spent the day playing there. Student, the story is began. We will see in this story that the year was 1812. In a small town near Paris, 3-year-old Louis was playing in his father's workshop, and Mr. Braille, who was the father of Louis Braille, made leather objects and had many special tools, so little Louis often spent the day playing there. So that time Mr. Braille instructed Louis that stay away from those nails. So Louis nodded. He looked intently at the things his father made, and curious little Louis decided to try his hand with the tools too. He picked up an awl, a sharp-pointed stick with a wooden handle. Mr. Braille used it to make holes in leather. Okay, when Louis' father told him that stay away from those nails, so that time the curious little Louis decided to try his hand with the tools too. So he picked up an awl, a sharp-pointed stick with a wooden handle. Mr. Braille used it to make holes in leather. So as he played with the awl, Louis' hand slipped and he let out a loud cry. Mr. Braille rushed to his son, but The damage was done, and the all had hit one of Louis' eyes. So we're going to take you to a doctor. Mr. Braille cried, carrying his son on the streets. Okay, student. What happened in the story? We will learn that a 3 or 4 years old little Louis Braille was playing in his father's workshop, and his father told him that do not touch the sharp objects, but the Louis was very curious and he decided to try his hand with the tools too. So he picked up an awl, a sharp pointed stick with a wooden handle, and started the playing. So that time Louis' hand slipped and he let out a loud cry. So what happened? So that time Louis hurt himself. Okay, and when his father listened his cry, so that time Mr. Braid rushed to his son, but the damage was done, and the awl had hit one of Louis' eyes. And after that, Mr. Braid cried, carrying his son on the street and said that we are going to take you a doctor. However, within a few days, the wound got infected. The infection spread to Louis' other eyes, and the boy became blind. And now the next, as he grew older, Louis learned to adapt. He went to school with all his friends and did well in his study. He was intelligent and creative. Most importantly, Louis was determined and not to let his disability slow him down one bit. He was a very intelligent boy, so that's why Louis was not to let his disability slow him down one bit. And soon Louis heard of a special school. Soon Louis heard of a special school in Paris for blind students. He didn't think twice about going. Louis packed his bags and went off to study there. Okay. So when Louis became blind, so that time he heard about a school, a special school for the blind people. So he decided to go, went off to study there. So at the school, Louis realized that there were special books for the blind to read. So Valentine Hoy, the founder of the school, had made books with large letters that were raised up of the page. Okay, the founder of the school, whose name was Valentine Hoy, had made books with large letters that were raised up of the page. Since the letter was so big, the books were bulky. Also, they were expensive to make. The school had exactly 14 of them, filling each letters with his fingerprints. Louis set about reading the books in the school library. However, this was a long and difficult task. It took a few seconds to read each word, so by the time he reached the end of a sentence, Louis almost forgot what the beginning of the sentence was about. So there must be a better way, Louis said to himself. He was very curious boy, so that's why when he found that it was a very difficult way to learn, so he decided to there must be a better way. Okay, and as he soon found out there was. So Louis thought long and hard about a way for the visually impaired to read. Others had created symbols that could be read by touch. However, this finger reading was slow and difficult, and the symbols were complex. Louis wanted an alphabet code to make reading by touch quick and easy. So, as fate would have it, Louis soon got the chance he was looking for. He heard about something called night writing. Student, what is night writing? So, we will learn about the night writing that is designed by Captain Charles Barbier. The French army. Student, when the Louis heard about the night writing, which is used this method to read message in the dark night for the French army. So at night soldiers could not read written message because they would need light to read. If they lit a match, the light might attract the enemy's attention. So instead they used an alphabet code made up of small dots and dashes. The symbols were raised up of the paper so that soldiers could read them by running their fingers over them. So Louis tried out the code. He saw that it was good, but he wanted to improve it further. So on his next vacation home, Louis spent all his time working on this system of writing. As he sat there in his father's leather shop, Louis picked up one of the awls. The idea came to him in a flash. The very tool that had caused him to go blind would now help him to read. And over the next few days, he worked on an alphabet made by entirely of 6 dots. The position of the different dots created the different letters of the alphabet. Louis used a blunt awl to punch out a sentence. Holding his breath, he read it quickly. Everything made sense. His plan had worked. Louis had invented a new system of reading and writing for the blind. And the boy was only 15 years old when he invented the new system of reading. Okay, so this system for reading and writing is used all over the world today. It is simply known as Braille. Today the blind can read maps in Braille. Special Braille computers enable them to work and connect with the online world. Since Louis loved music, he also created a musical code in Braille, and this helped the blind read musical notes and compose tunes. So student, for all these achievements he got only by his hard work. Okay student? So a few years ago, India issued a special 2 rupees coin to mark the 200th birth anniversary of Louis Braille. The coin wears his portrait and also has his name written in Braille. In many countries, there are Braille symbols of currency notes. This helped the blind identify the value of the notes. And however, all this was possible only because of a blind boy with a dream. Louis Braille not only achieved his dream to read and write, but also helped thousands across the world to read and write too. Okay, this little boy, Louis Braille, helped thousand blind people across the world. Okay student, so it is the whole story that we read, and through this chapter we will learn that we have to work hard for the big achievements. Okay, that is the dream of a little blind boy. This was possible only because of a blind boy with a dream. Louis Braille not only achieved his dream to read and write, but also helped thousands across the world to read and write too. Okay student, so this is the story, and now we moving to the exercises and word meaning. So first of all, we will revise the given word meaning that is given in the chapter. So one by one we are going to revise the given word meaning. So student, as you can see, there is a first word that is given on page number 74 that is, first word is intently, and the meaning of intently is with great attention. With great attention. Now the next word that is adapt, and the meaning of adapt is here live a normal life despite his handicap. Now the next, his disability, here not being able to do something. Okay, didn't think twice, didn't have any doubts. Next is blocky, and the meaning of blocky is large and heavy. After that, visually impaired, it means partly or completely blind. After that, complex, and the meaning of complex is here difficult to read and understand. Now the next word that is given on next page, that is in a flash. In a flash it means suddenly. And now the next last one that is given blunt, and the meaning of blunt, not sharp. Okay students, so these are the word meaning. You must be read this given word meaning. It's your homework of today. You must be read the given word meaning and also write down in your practice copy, and I will explain the next remaining exercises in my next video. Okay student, so your homework is you must be read this given chapter at your home and also learn the given word meaning. You have to read and write the given word meaning. Okay student, so this is your homework. You must be do it. So dear student, that's it for today. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.